Hi, and welcome back to this channel. I backtested a pin bar or rejection candle strategy on 6 years of gold historical data. And in this video, I'll show you how I coded this strategy in Python by detecting pin bars automatically and then applying a simple trend filter. We will go through the strategy rules and finally we will check the results. You can download the Python code I'll be using in this video for free from the link in the description. A pin bar usually shows that price was rejected at a certain level, and in the right context, it can be a strong signal to enter in the direction of the trend. The detection rules are simple. A pin bar is identified when one of the wicks is at least twice the size of the body of the candle. The body must also be smaller than 33% of the total candle range. So we're trying to avoid very short bodies. And the smaller wick must stay below the size of the body as well. A pin bar alone is not enough to trade. It needs to appear within a proper setup or a proper context. Today, I'll filter these candles using a trend filter. I'll be using two exponential moving averages. If the EMA 50, for example, is above the EMA 200, and the price is also closing above the EMA 50, we consider the market to be in an uptrend and we keep only the bullish rejection candles. On the other hand, if the EMA 50 is below the EMA 200 and price is trading below both curves, then we are in a downtrend and we keep bearish rejections. When a trade is opened, the stop loss is placed beyond the pin candle using an ATR-based distance. The take profit is set using a 2-to-1 reward to risk ratio as a first example. You can change these parameters, of course, in the Python code, test and experiment with the different numbers that you have in mind. In extreme ranging markets, meaning if the market starts ranging and the trade does not hit the stop loss nor the take profit, it's automatically closed after 50 candles, which is, if I'm working in the hourly time frame, it's around 2 days, so a bit more than 48 hours. Now let me show you the Python code and take a look at the results. So this is a Jupyter notebook file, but everything is put in utils.py. So the whole backtesting process is divided into two files. The utils will contain all the functions that we're going to need to plot and backtest the strategy, and also to filter and detect the candles. Now, this is why I've used utils in order actually to keep the Python notebook neat, concise, and understandable. You can, of course, call these functions, modify them, or just copy and paste the file and use it in other strategies if you wish. So for now, let's go through the Jupyter notebook file. I'm going to divide this work into two phases. So phase one is just detecting the pin bars or the rejection candles. And in phase two, we're going to filter those according to the two EMA curves. At first, we're going to import whatever we need from utils and other libraries and packages from Python. Then I'm going to load the data. I'm loading the 1 minute data, but then I'm going to resample into 1 hour. There's a reason I'm doing this. So it's going to be discussed in a different video. For now, I'm not going to treat the data. I'm not going to discuss the data for the sake of keeping this video as short as possible. Phase one is calling basically the detect pin bars with the conditions. So we need to have a wick ratio of 2. That means the wick has to be at least twice as large as the body of the candle. And the body ratio is 0.33, which means that the body has to be less than 33% of the range, the total range of the candle. The total range is the high minus the low. So that's the whole range covered by the candle. Now, if we run this function, it's going to detect the pin bars and we're going to count these. So -1 are pin bars in the bearish rejection setup, and 1 is the bullish rejection candles. 0 are normal candles. We can see that we have 1,500 bearish signals and almost 2,000 bullish signals, which is normal because in the last 6 years, the gold actually was climbing, so the price was going up. And this is the first indicator that these rejection candles are correlated with the overall direction of the trend. Simply because in this case, we have a bit more, like 25% more bullish rejection candles. Now we can plot these, as you can see on this bar chart. we can see that this is a correct rejection. It's a long wick. It's a green candle. It's a bullish signal. This one as well. So I didn't divide these. I didn't filter those by colors. So even red candles can have a bullish rejection signal triggered if they have a long wick in the correct direction. Again, we have here a series of bearish signals as well, bullish signals here, and so on. So we can see that from the form point of view, the shape of the candle, the function is working properly and the program is detecting these rejection candles. Now, this is where we backtest the phase one. I'm going to backtest it using backtesting.py package as usual. And we can change all the parameters, the risk reward ratio here, the ATR period, because we are using the ATR to set the stop loss below the low of the current candle or the high or above the high of the current candle if we are talking about a bearish signal. So these parameters can be changed. This is the ATR multiplier here. It's set to 1.5. And the maximum holding bars, 48 hours plus 2, that's 50 hours, almost 2 days. Then we can simply run the backtest. I'm starting with $10,000 in cash. I put a small commission to account for the spread, at least in the backtest. And we're going to trade on close. So at the closing price of each candle after the candle is closed. And these are the results. As you can see, we have returns of -2%. Don't compare this with the buy and hold returns, which is 200%. Gold was spiking in a crazy way recently because of the events and the fundamentals. But we're trying to build a strategy that would work in different conditions, not an investment strategy, more for day traders. The drawdown is huge, -43%. The average drawdown, -3.5%. A win rate of 38%, which is almost like tossing a coin. So it's almost like random, taking into account the fact that we have 2-to-1 risk reward ratio. So I'm sure if I put it 1 here, it should be around 50%. So let me rerun everything because I don't think my notebook is set correctly. The win rate is around 52%. So when you set the stop loss almost equal to the take profit distance, you're going to get something totally random, 50%, either in the bullish or the bearish direction. So now I'm going to put this back to 2 because that's what we're going to backtest now for the other phase as well. So that's -2%. Now we move on to the second phase. So that's phase 2. I'm going to add the trend filter. That's a function that's in the utils.py file. I'm feeding the first data frame inside and I'm using the EMA 50 and EMA 200. You can change these. I just took those as an example. This is how easy you can just change the numbers here and it's going to compute the EMAs and use those for the simulation and the backtest. Then I'm going to apply the trend filter on the signal column named pin bar signal. So, and the new column that will be created. So the filtered signal will be pin bar signal filtered. And this is it basically. So let me run this. Now we have less signals. We have 400 instead of 1,500 previously and 780 bullish rejection candles instead of almost 2,000 in the phase 1. Now we can plot these. This is the trend indicator. We have to have, again, the fast moving average below the slow moving average and the candles are below both of these curves. We are in a downtrend. So this is a downtrend. Then we have an uptrend here in the opposite setup. We have an uptrend, a slight uptrend here that was detected. Remember, this is numerical. It's not a real trader. This is a good set of an uptrend here that was detected, as you can see. So the algorithm is working perfectly fine. And now notice that only the green rejection candles were kept. So these are the green signals in the up direction that are agreeing with the overall trend. If I take a smaller slice, let's say from 2000 up to 2100 as an index, I'm going to run this again. And you can see those green triangles. There's a red one here that's appearing because we are flipping into a setup that might be considered as a downtrend. As you can see, we are in a downtrend here and so on. So this is how it works numerically. Now we can backtest this phase 2 thing. And now I got 31% in returns. And this is much better than the first phase, which was just blindly trading all the pin bars. You want to go for the buy and hold, you carry a bit more risk because you never know what's going to happen during all this time. The interesting part is that also the maximum drawdown shrinked, that's minus 15% versus minus 43% previously, I guess. So that's here minus 43%. This is a huge improvement. So we have less risk. A minus 3.5% here. Let's see, that's the average drawdown. This also must be improved. We have an average of minus 1.13%. This is really great. We've decreased the risk almost by a third. And the win rate is also improved to 40%. Side-by-side snapshot, if you want to take a look at phase one and phase two, you can see that we have returns minus 2%, 31%. We went from a 38% win rate to 40% win rate. So that's not very different, but since the returns are different, it's a very good indicator. We're not only selecting better trades, that we are selecting a much better context in phase two for the pin bars. So just with a slight improvement, the win rate doesn't mean much in this case. We can see how big difference we got in the returns percentages. And the number of trades, of course, decreased. The maximum drawdown decreased to minus 15%, and the profit factor increased from 1 to 1.15 almost. Now for the visuals, we can plot the equity curves of phase one and phase two. We can see that phase one, which is the blue curve, is in the negative, and phase two is showing a more positive slope of the growing equity. We also can plot the drawdown percentage to visualize the risk, and phase two is much better. In this case, we can see that through time, we didn't have those big dips. Of course, if you take a look at the numbers, you can guess the average drawdown and the maximum drawdown. But in this case, when you plot the curve, you can see how it's changing through time. And if there are any phases where the strategy is really struggling. So for the phase two, it's really much better than phase one, as you can see. I mean, it's very clear with the difference between the two curves. And we can see that all the numbers are better for phase two. This is how adding a simple context or a trend filter, very simple, 2 EMAs, nothing fancy, and tested over 6 years of data. So this is not just testing over 1 month or 2 months, that's 6 years. We can see how it played a big role in decreasing the risk and also improving the overall profit. In the next video, I'm intending to add a key levels, support and resistance levels, and to filter signals happening only around these key levels to see if we can further improve these results. If you have any other ideas or you are interested in a specific patterns, maybe adding the engulfing candles and other patterns of candles, and something you've been trading and you would like to share it, please don't hesitate, drop us a comment and I'll make sure that we can test this together. And this will be it for this one. I hope you guys liked it and found the information helpful. Until our next one, trade safe and see you next time.